Hey everyone, my name is Stephen Tucker, and I have been your classmate for the past several weeks in human resources management. This is my PowerPoint presentation on the job and the project that I chose to do was creating a job description. So the PowerPoint presentation is on creating a job description. Um, so next slide. Um, so I guess to start off, we'll start from the top. So a job analysis. So our textbook describes a job analysis as the process of getting detailed information about jobs and is important for organizations to understand and match job requirements and people to achieve high quality performance, especially in today's marketplace. So, like I said, job analysis is basically at the top. It splits off into um, job specifications, and uh, job descriptions. So it breaks down into those two pieces. So next slide. Okay, so job specifications, or our textbook defines it as a list of knowledge, skills, abilities, and other characteristics, KSAO, that an individual must have to perform the job. These are like qualifications. Examples include prior education is a good one for knowledge. That can include like what degree you got, or if you got a master's, if you will. Abilities could be, an example could be the ability to use certain computer applications, and a good skill would be a written or verbal communication skill, and that's a big one in a business environment. The writing, and the verbal communication skill, because it's a big one. So yeah, so that's the branch off from job analysis, and we will go to the next slide, which is job description. Job description is, I guess, that is what the presentation is about, and I'll say it again, but the textbook says a job description is a list of tasks, duties, and responsibilities, TDRs, that a job entails. So, and the thing to keep in mind is that a job description, these are all observable things that you can observe in a workplace, while the job specifications are things that you can't observe. So that's just a little thing. So job description. So I chose to kind of focus in the paper on mainly two techniques, and I focused on one for the actual job description. But I came across, when I was researching for the project, a book by a guy named Brian Tracy, and it's entitled "Hire and Keep the Best People: 21 Practical and Proven Techniques You Can Use Immediately." And I'll just read a little quote from one of his chapters. He says, "What I do prior to starting a search for a new person is to make a list of everything I can possibly think of that the perfect person would have, and be able to do if I could find him or her. This is the technique that I used in writing the job description, because in this job description, its benefits is that if you throw everything out there and someone still applies, that means you have found or could find a high quality candidate for the company. The con of this, obviously, is that a lot of people, when reading the job description, are going to be intimidated because of everything and anything and everything that you've listed. So a lot less people are going to apply. But another benefit is that it heavily streamlines the process, because since not a lot of people are going to be would apply. Usually the selection process is going to be quicker, which is going to save the company time, resources, and money, just for the company. Yeah. So the other technique that I chose, it's still good, but I chose not to focus on, is it is basically the polar opposite of, I'll just say, the Tracy technique, but it is where you only include a couple key, what you absolutely need, responsibilities or tasks on the job description. So you're going to get a lot more people applying, because if there's less qualifications, more people will feel as if they could apply or perform in that particular company. But the con of this is that the selection process is going to take a lot longer. But that's not a bad thing if you find just a good either way, you're still going to find a good candidate. But with the using not a lot of responsibilities, or not listing a lot of responsibilities, tasks, duties, you're going to see you're going to have a lot more people apply, but you're just going to have to pick through them, or a manager or whoever's in the hiring process is just going to have to look through them. But that is why I chose to do, I guess, the Tracy technique, because it would just save the company money and time and resources. So yeah. Next slide. So the job that I decided to focus on was that of an accountant, and instead of at least for this project or presentation, I decided to choose just a generic, not specialized job, or accountant, not get into the specifics, just the specialized accounting jobs, because there's a lot. And by generic, I just mean just the most basic form of an accountant, just the type of accountant that any and every company needs, just to take care of the financial and accounting aspects, sides of the business. So nothing too specialized, but getting back to it, job title is probably one of the most important, if not the most important part of a job description, because it is what the person's applying for. That is the first thing they're going to look at, and but it is the most important part, if not. But so general description of the job, that is just like a 1 to 2 sentence things speaking of what the job would include, and I just did a basic definition of preparing, maintaining, evaluating, and reviewing monthly accounting and financial reports, and presenting such reports to the management team in a decision-making process. So just a very basic description of what the accountant does. So job description, TDRs. This is using the Tracy technique, where you just trying to put anything and everything on the job description, which just streamlines the process, the decision and hiring processes. And I don't want to read them all off, but just a couple of them are preparing monthly accounting reports, maintaining financial records of the company, and reviewing and evaluating business expenses and budgets. So these are just tasks, duties, or responsibilities that you would have to do if you were to apply. And as you can see, there's a lot up here, which is why the other technique might come in handy, because this one, as you can see, is kind of intimidating. So a lot of people might just, not apply because they feel as if they don't meet the qualifications, roughly. Moving on to job specifications. So I broke job specifications down into two major parts, which is required education and preferred skills. Also keep in mind that KSAO, knowledge, skills, abilities, and other specifications, and that these are non-observable as opposed to observable. So required education. For this generic accounting job, I just put minimum of 4-year bachelor's degree in accounting, finance, or any related field is required to become an accountant. And a master's degree would be an added advantage. If you were getting into a more specific, required education, you could say has passed the CPA exam or any other specialized test, I guess. And then preferred skills, and that just says possesses knowledge of federal and state financial rules, regulations, and policies, strong mathematical skills, strong verbal and written communication are needed, and knowledge of various computer applications, and possesses computer skills. So that's just a basic list of job specifications for an accountant, a generic accountant. So yeah, I'd like to thank you all for joining me on this presentation. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can email me. I got my email at the bottom of the slide, st257721 at myncwc.edu. So thank you for joining me.